Today I'm reacting to your Monday Night Raw Hot Takes. Hot Takes is a weekly video series where I give you all a platform to be able to voice your thoughts, whether those are good thoughts, bad thoughts, or everything in between about the world of professional wrestling. So if you'd like to be featured in the next episode of Hot Takes, make sure that you follow me on X because I ask for your hot takes after every episode of Raw, SmackDown, and every single WWE Premium Live event. And if you are looking for my 40-minute review of this episode of Monday Night Raw, it's already up and available over on the Patreon with footage so you can see exactly what we're talking about, as well as my Royal Rumble review. That's also up there as well with footage. Over on the Patreon, we upload so much more content that uses footage like match watch-alongs that we can never post here on YouTube because of copyright restrictions. So if you'd like to go check that out, it's over on Patreon, link in the description, as well as a link in the pinned comment. And as always, don't forget to subscribe to this channel, ring the bell for notifications. If you're a wrestling fan, I'm really confident that you're going to fall in love with this YouTube channel because we always upload daily wrestling content. All right, let's read your stupid shit. Not a hot take, but I thought the Netflix interruptions were intentional at first and done by the Wyatt Six. So you're not alone in thinking this. I also thought that the Wyatt Six, or maybe Alexa Bliss, considering she's part of Monday Night Raw, were involved with these glitches that we were getting. I was halfway expecting a QR code to appear at some point. I also thought that they were intentional because initially these glitches were only happening during backstage segments, but eventually we started getting them during matches, and then they started happening far more frequently to the point where it almost ruined the fantastic main event that was CM Punk versus Sami Zayn because we were getting interruptions every 10 seconds in the last 5 minutes of this match. So Netflix, please get your shit together. Liv and Io deserve their 10s for the absolute banger that they put on tonight after going an hour in the Rumble. Would I be crazy if I said that I'd rather see those two face off at Mania than anything else? They get all the flowers in the world. In fact, I was actually a little bit bummed when they announced that it was going to be Io Sky versus Liv Morgan for a qualifier match at the Elimination Chamber because I frankly wanted to see both of them because Io Sky is fantastic and Liv Morgan, let's face it, has been the MVP of the past two Elimination Chamber matches. But I do believe that even though Liv Morgan won, a fantastic match by the way, dare I say maybe Liv Morgan's best match that I've seen over the past 12 months, even though Liv won, I still think that WWE is going to put Io Sky in there considering the way that Io Sky lost, and they tend to do these like last chance opportunities to get into chamber matches. I feel like Io is going to get in some way, some form. I wouldn't mind eventually, maybe down the line, them getting a proper feud. This is something that we've yet to get between Liv Morgan and Io Sky. We got like a quasi little rushed feud between them going into Saturday night's main event, but seeing how good they are together in the ring, their ring chemistry is fantastic. I want to see a proper program between Liv Morgan and Io Sky, whether it's WrestleMania, SummerSlam, Money in the Bank, whatever it might be. Give me more of these two because they are fantastic together. Kevin hitting the package pile driver on Sami shouldn't have happened so fast because Kevin Owens went through hell 2 days ago just to come back and beat the hell out of Sami. I get what you're saying, considering they announced that Cody Rhodes wouldn't be on Monday Night Raw because of the injuries sustained during the ladder match, and you would think that if Cody Rhodes isn't able to make it to the show because of the injuries sustained, then Kevin Owens sure as shit shouldn't be able to make it to the show because of the injuries sustained. But I feel like that's the reason why they announced Cody Rhodes, because then we would have never expected Kevin Owens to be part of that main event program where he destroyed Sami Zayn with a package pile driver. I genuinely didn't see it coming, and I'm always pleased when WWE and professional wrestling can actually catch me off guard because they caught me off guard there. Should he be selling the injuries? Maybe, but I feel like he was. He came out there looking haggard as hell. He didn't look like a spring chicken. He didn't look 100%. He looked like a walking dead zombie who was using the last little bit of energy that he had to take out all of his rage and frustration on Sami Zayn. So I get what you're saying, but I feel like it worked in its favor because we would have never expected Kevin Owens in this situation. Finally, the War Raiders are feuding with another tag team that isn't Judgment Day for the tag titles. Thank gosh. Yes, not only are we getting a proper feud between tag teams for the tag team championships, but we are now seeing the Raw tag team division slowly flourish. We finally have New Day getting an entrance theme, a new look, winning tag team matches. We have Dragon Lee back to maybe make something out of Dragon Lee and Rey Mysterio. We have A-Town Down Under feuding with Alpha Academy. We have stuff going on. Things are finally cooking in the Raw tag team division. Thank God. I understand Cena's the GOAT, but him not qualifying like everyone else doesn't make sense. He said himself that he can't just walk into a match, but this is what he's doing for the chamber. I can understand why you have this confusion, especially it sounds like you missed John Cena's press conference right after he lost the Royal Rumble match, where he basically cut a quasi like 25% heel promo where he said, I don't have to earn anything. I'm John freaking Cena. Everything that I've done over the past 20 years, the resume alone demands that I have a spot in the Elimination Chamber. So I'll see you there, which I personally like because this isn't very John Cena like. It's not like him to just demand and expect things to be handed out to him. But in this scenario, he is expecting it because as he said in that press conference in a kind of heely way that John Cena being the 17-time world champion is what's best for business. And because it's best for business, he demands a spot in the Elimination Chamber. And I don't think anyone's going to complain about getting another Cena match, considering so many people are complaining about the fact that we didn't get enough John Cena. So here we go. We're getting more John Cena, which is good. But yeah, definitely watch the press conference because it'll give you a lot more context as to why he is just able to waltz in and get the opportunity. I really wonder what they're going to do with Io. Seems like her and Rhea is still the plan. I feel like it's the best plan on the table. It seems like Rhea and Bianca Belair, one of those WrestleMania dream matches that I desperately want to see at some point, we're too far away, right? The degrees of separation between Rhea and Bianca Belair are too great where I just don't think that we have enough time to make this happen at WrestleMania. The other one is Charlotte. We'll talk about that a little bit later on in this video. The other one left, the best option on the table, not named Charlotte or Bianca Belair, is Io Sky. And I do believe that we're slowly building there based on how Io Sky's qualification went with her losing because of Rhea Ripley getting involved. I'm sure that we're going to see a struggle for Io to get back into the Elimination Chamber. But I do believe that in terms of best match available, it's Io Sky. And WWE is already planting the seeds to actually give us a proper storyline and feud between Rhea and Io Sky. I agree with you. I think it's still the play. Here's what I'm going to say though. All right, it might be a little bit controversial. Let's pretend there's a world where Io Sky does win Elimination Chamber. In my opinion, they should have just swapped Io and Charlotte. I feel like a lot more people would have been on board if Charlotte won Elimination Chamber as opposed to her winning the Royal Rumble. If it was Io winning the Rumble or whoever wins the Chamber, really, let's pick whoever it is. Whoever wins the Chamber, if they had won the Rumble instead and Charlotte had won the Chamber instead, I feel like people would have been a lot more on board with Charlotte getting the position that she's in right now. WWE knows what they need to do. Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens at Elimination Chamber. Randy comes back, costs Kevin Owens the match, and that's how we set up Kevin Owens versus Randy at WrestleMania. Yeah, that's like the play. To me, it's the most obvious thing on the table. There's nothing else for Randy to do. With Randy not yet coming back at the Royal Rumble, it means that we're still waiting on the return of Randy Orton. And we can't really look beyond anything past Randy Orton versus Kevin Owens until we see it actually happen. And it looks like it's on a collision course to happen at WrestleMania. We can't even start to think or predict about Randy Orton versus Cody Rhodes because the first thing that Randy needs to do when he comes back is to go after Kevin Owens. And the timing is telling us that it's likely going to be at WrestleMania. Why did they never let Liv Morgan wrestle like this when she was champion? I don't know. This was her best singles match all year. I'm not flinching. I still think Io versus Rhea is our Mania match. Io will win the last chance qualifiers. This is just the way to slowly make her turn on Rhea. Yep, also agree with all of this. It does beg the question, what are we going to do with Liv Morgan? Is Liv Morgan's path to WrestleMania in the tag team division? I know that she's embroiled in a feud with Bianca and Naomi. I don't know. Maybe she gets inserted and this turns into a triple threat. Maybe that's the case. We're still so early on in this road to WrestleMania. You got to remember, we are 2.5 months away from WrestleMania. This is a WrestleMania that's taking place halfway through April. So that gives us even a couple of extra weeks to be able to sort out storylines as well. But in my opinion, I agree. I don't think that this was Liv Morgan's best match of the year. I feel like it was the best match of her career. Like I said before, her and Io Sky just clearly have incredibly fantastic chemistry. And it is a shame that this is not the Liv Morgan that we got when she was champion, that she was so shoehorned to only doing things against Rhea Ripley. We should have been seeing her have these types of matches against a whole host of different people. Lyra has been booked horribly as champion so far. Since there are plans for Asuka's return soon, they should square off at Mania and perhaps give Asuka her long overdue Mania moment. Yeah, if Asuka were to come back, I'd be down for that. I mean, she is a first ballot Hall of Famer. Her being inserted into the Intercontinental Championship picture would instantly add a ton of prestige to the division and to the championship itself and to Lyra Valkyria's championship reign. The problem isn't just that Lyra Valkyria isn't booked particularly well. I feel like the division just isn't booked particularly well, especially with losing Dakota Kai. There isn't much that the WWE has done, just like over on Friday Night SmackDown, by the way. It's not just a Raw problem, to develop and build the women within the women's mid-card. They have a ton of talent. They are not lacking for bodies. They are lacking for booking within that division. Bro, that is so far. Oh my word. Oh, it happened again. Are you kidding me?
God.
Oh, good Lord. Crowd absolutely loves Daniel Bryan. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. That was a sneak peek of this week's Royal Rumble-centric Wrestling is Cool Match Club, available exclusively on patreon.com/SantiZap. This week we're looking at Kurt Angle versus Chris Benoit from the Royal Rumble 2003. Seth Rollins versus Brock Lesnar versus John Cena from Royal Rumble 2015. Alexa Bliss versus Bianca Belair at the Royal Rumble 2023. The gruesome Rock versus Mankind I Quit match from Royal Rumble 1999. Bray Wyatt versus Daniel Bryan at the Royal Rumble 2014. And CM Punk versus The Rock for the WWE Championship at Royal Rumble 2013. That's right, 6 matches this week instead of 5. You're going to be getting all of this, plus the Raw reviews, the SmackDown reviews, the Wrestling is Cool podcast 3 days earlier than everywhere else, and you're going to get the Undertaker Streak watch-along that we're doing, and the Royal Rumble watch-alongs that we've been doing for the past several months as well. All of these are exclusively available to Patreon because we can't show them on YouTube because YouTube automatically blocks anything with footage. So we quite literally can never show it here. It's only on Patreon. Again, that's patreon.com/SantiZap. I'm going to put a link in the description as well as a link in the pinned comment for you. If you're already supporting on Patreon, thank you so much. If you aren't, just consider it just for 1 month. I'm really confident that you're going to fall in love with it, even if you try for 1 month. That's enough. Let's get you back to the video. Kevin Owens in 2025. So I don't know what you're saying. I don't know if you're saying that he is bald Randy Orton taking out everybody, or if you're expecting a bald like Randy Orton to come back and take out Kevin Owens. Both kind of work. Jey Uso winning was the right decision. He literally had tears in his eyes. If you hate Jey Uso after tonight, you are not a true WWE fan. I hate the last part of this take. You are not a true WWE fan. People can like and dislike what they want to like or dislike. If you dislike Jey Uso, it is your prerogative. Do not let people try and bully you or try and gaslight you into telling you that you're not a WWE fan simply because you don't align with their thoughts. If you don't like it, you don't like it. I personally did like it. To me, this is what I was looking for out of a Jey Uso promo. The last thing that I wanted was for him to go out there and keep the glasses on and yeet and just be a catchphrase machine and be a mascot. Because that is the complaint that people have about him winning the Royal Rumble, that he's just a super kick, a cool entrance, and a word, and that's it. But seeing a human side of Jey Uso is exactly what I needed. Somebody that's sitting on the fence as to whether or not they like Jey Uso winning the Royal Rumble. It helped me steer me towards me liking it. I'm still not sold on it, however. The promo wasn't great in terms of a wrestling promo, but it felt real. It felt human, which allowed me to sympathize with a guy that's been grinding in this business for 20 plus years, where he's finally climbed the top of the mountain, a mountain that he technically should have never climbed because he was always predestined to be a forever tag team guy. And I love how he laid out his career, talking about his early days as a tag team, then the bloodline, then everything that's been going on now. To me, it made it really easy to sympathize with Jey Uso. But sympathy does not equal good storylines or good booking yet, however. That is what we need more of. So yeah, this was a great first step towards getting people to fall in line with the idea of Jey Uso going after the World Heavyweight Championship or the WWE Undisputed Championship. If you're not on board yet, I still don't blame you. If you hate Jey Uso, that is your prerogative, and you're still a wrestling fan in my eyes, unlike what this person said. Charlotte could sing the national anthem in Texas and still still get booed. WWE needs to stop trying to make face Charlotte a thing. She should be a narcissistic jerk forever. Oh, brother, I agree. Charlotte Flair as a babyface has never worked for me, even though I'm a big Charlotte Flair fan, mostly because of her heel work and because of her fantastic in-ring work. She has had so many great matches, and people like to just ignore how good her matches have been just because they hate Charlotte Flair. What I want is Charlotte Flair as a heel, and I kind of liked what we got here, a Charlotte Flair that was attempting to be babyface, but the crowd was rejecting it, and I felt like that was part of the play. I feel like they know that babyface Charlotte Flair isn't going to work. That's why they put her opposite of Rhea Ripley to really, create the dichotomy of who's on the good side and who's on the bad side. I think the bigger question is, can Tiffany Stratton be babyface? The crowd is definitely going to get behind Tiffany Stratton, but I've never seen what babyface Tiffany Stratton looks like. She was never babyface on NXT. She hasn't been babyface on the main roster. I know she's still her same evil character going up against other bad people, but is that going to change? Is her character going to change as a babyface? Or are we still going to get spoiled brat Tiffany Stratton, Tiffy time Tiffany Stratton, but just simply her having the backing of the fans? I don't know what it's going to look like. Because I've said it before, there are people that are just so much better being heels, and I feel like that's going to be Tiffany Stratton in the long run. I just don't want her to end up being like The Miz, where they force her as a babyface and it doesn't work either. But it does look like if we want to get Charlotte versus Tiffany Stratton, that Tiffy should be the babyface here, right? Karrion Kross's character is underrated and he's playing it very well. Look, Karrion Kross, I gotta give it to him, man. Like, he gets almost no TV time, but in the short amount of TV time that he gets, he maximizes it. He does the best thing that he could possibly do with the 30 seconds that he shows up. He's incredibly impactful with the amount of time that he has, so I gotta give him kudos for that. Jey and Gunther should have a special stipulation to finally decide the end of the feud. Kind of like how Punk and Drew went out at Bad Blood. I'm thinking ladder match, last man standing, because I don't think that a standard belt match is gonna cut it at Mania. Yeah, but I feel like you're making a mistake trying to compare this to Drew McIntyre versus CM Punk, the best feud of all of 2024 and one of the best feuds of the entirety of the 2020s. That is a feud that earned its stipulations. This feud between Gunther and Jey has not earned its stipulations. Sure, they've had matches in the past before, but they've not truly properly feuded. Because they haven't properly feuded, I don't feel like they've earned a big stipulation. Now, what Gunther said, that I'm gonna make your life a living hell every single week, maybe that's what earns our stipulation. But as of right now, on paper, what we have, there's nothing that warrants a stipulation between Jey and Gunther, aside from the fact that it would make the match more entertaining. WWE is going to turn Tiffany face, and it's gonna suck. Okay, we were just talking about this. I'm concerned about this as well, but I don't know why I am concerned, because I don't know that Tiffany is a bad babyface, because like I said, we've never seen it before, so we're just gonna have to let her sink or swim if she does become babyface. Here's the thing, she's just going to automatically have the backing of the fans because, one, we like Tiffany Stratton, and two, we hate Charlotte Flair apparently. People want to boo Charlotte Flair, and people want the youngsters like Tiffany Stratton to beat the Charlotte Flairs of the world. But will the actual babyface character be good? That's the question. Jey Uso's promo was so full of emotion and heart that it made me cry and truly feel something. I can't wait to see where Jey Uso's story goes from here. Yeah, I saw a lot of people clowning on this promo, that it took too long, that he's bad at cutting promos, that this is one of the worst, Royal Rumble winner promos that they've ever heard. To me, it felt real and I bought into it. Like I said already in the previous hot take, I thought it was a bad wrestling promo, but it was a good human promo, and humanizing is what Jey Uso needs because, like I said, people just see him as a giant mascot. The Rock versus Roman dreams may be officially dead, at least anytime soon, which is a great shame. Bro, it is. It just feels like the stars are never going to properly align. They were ready to do it WrestleMania 40, but nobody wanted it because it was the wrong time. Then people were down for it at WrestleMania 41, and now it doesn't work with the Rock's schedule. That's why I've always said, like, the second that we are able to do the Rock versus Roman, just pull the trigger. Don't overthink it, because who knows when the Rock is going to be available next. But it does look like we aren't getting the Rock at all at WrestleMania, at the very least in a match. Maybe he'll be there as an MC. Maybe he'll be in backstage segments in a promo, something. Where is Gable gonna go for Dark Arts Lucha training? TNA, NXT, or maybe some Mexican promotion? Who knows? I'm just looking forward to it. This is the story plot thread that I'm maybe the most interested in on Monday Night Raw, because I have no idea where it's gonna go. I don't know where it's gonna take Chad Gable. Are we gonna get to see where he goes? Because there's a partnership between WWE and Noah in Japan. He said that that he's going somewhere really far. I would assume it's going to be maybe as far as Japan. Maybe he's going to consult somebody there, but I hope that we get to see the journey as part of WWE main roster TV, wherever it is that he goes, whether it's TNA, Mexico, Japan, NXT, wherever. Jay's entrance reaction tonight proves that it was the right call for him to win the Rumble. It doesn't prove that because I feel like CM Punk, Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, Drew McIntyre, John Cena all would have gotten an equal levels of reaction. So I disagree with the fundamental basis of your argument here. But what it does say is that the online hate towards Jey Uso winning the Royal Rumble, that's just a fugazi. That's a tiny, small, vocal minority. Like I've been saying this entire time, me as a YouTuber, the people on Twitter that get mad, the internet wrestling community, we don't matter, bro. Like we are less than 0.01% of the actual representation of WWE fans. What you saw out there in the arena, those are the real WWE fans that WWE wants to cater to, because they're the ones that are actually spending money to go to WWE shows, and they were absolutely hyped for Jey Uso. So don't buy into the negativity, while at the same time, maybe don't buy into the positivity of everything going on in the internet wrestling community, because we aren't necessarily a canary in the coal mine that we like to think that we are. Jay winning the Royal Rumble has me torn. After tonight especially, I'm happy that Jay won the Rumble, and I'm happy for him. Yet I'm pessimistic about him main eventing WrestleMania Night 2 to close out in Vegas. I just don't think that him and Gunther can do it, or him and Cody, to be honest. Hey, this actually sounds exactly like me, because I'm also in this boat. I am happy for the person Jey Uso, but I'm both optimistic and pessimistic about what they can do with Jey Uso as a Royal Rumble winner. I feel like it would have been much easier to do Jey Uso as a Money in the Bank briefcase holder, but we've decided to do the big kahuna, the Royal Rumble, and that's a lot of commitment. Now, you guys know that I hate the phrase let Papa H cook, and I don't think that this is a let Papa H cook situation. I feel like this is just a show me what the cards are so that I can make a decision whether I like it or hate it, because we don't have enough on the plate to yet, at least for me, to make a decision as to whether I like it or hate it. In terms of Jey Uso versus Gunther, I get it. It doesn't particularly scream a night 2 main event. Hell, it struggles to scream night 1 main event, especially if Cody Rhodes in whatever match he has is the automatic night 2 main event. Say we get Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns, that to me, that's the night 1 main event, not Jay versus Gunther. So it's an uphill battle to get us to buy into Jey Uso versus Gunther again, and WWE did it to themselves by giving us Jey Uso versus Gunther literally 2 weeks ago at Saturday night's main event. That to me is a massive, massive mistake. As good as it was to see Jay get his moment, I'm still going to need a lot more to convince me the Rumble was the right move. I think going after Cody could do that. At the end of the day, I still think he would have been a better Mr. Money in the Bank winner than the Royal Rumble. Oh, that's funny. Literally just said that. I feel like people would have been universally on board with Jey Uso as Mr. Money in the Bank, and they wouldn't be anywhere near as divided with him winning the Royal Rumble. Like I said, Royal Rumble, that's the big kahuna. That's a major, major investment that you're making in Jey Uso, and clearly, at the very least, online, not in the arena, people are split on that investment. Now, the question that you're bringing up here, would Jay going after Cody alleviate some of these concerns that you have? I mean, it would sure as hell be the night 2 main event. They would need to tell a hell of a story, which I think that they can, because there's so much history between Cody and Jay. Cody is the guy that basically got Jay out of the bloodline. Cody is the guy that gave Jay another chance on Monday Night Raw to flourish as a single star. They were tag team champions until we meet again. So there's a lot of baggage there that could give us a really fascinating story going into WrestleMania 41. And it's not as if the WWE is shy of doing big babyface versus big babyface. We've seen it done before in the main event of WrestleMania. So I'm more intrigued and more interested about the prospect of Jey Uso versus Cody Rhodes than I am Jey Uso versus Gunther, because again, one is something that we've already seen before. The other one is a brand new unknown. And here's the thing. I don't mind getting matches again. Rematches can be sick sometimes. The problem is that Jey Uso versus Gunther, let's just call a spade, wasn't that good. It was fine. It was entertaining, but it wasn't like, I hope they run this again in the main event of WrestleMania type of good. I don't think it was that good. Tonight confirmed to me that Seth versus Punk versus Roman is likely, and I have to say that I'm not a big fan. I feel like Seth Roman, Seth Punk 2, or Punk Roman would all be more impactful on their own. I don't know why you think that it's confirmed that we're going to get Seth Punk Roman. I'm more leaning towards it being Seth Roman, and maybe still on the table, maybe Punk versus Cody Rhodes. It all depends on what what they're planning on doing with John Cena. John Cena does add a little bit of a wrench into everything. Are they planning on doing Cody versus Cena? If that is the case, then what do you do with Punk? Maybe it is a triple threat between all of those guys. Who knows? But they are clearly keeping their cards close to their chest as to what they want to do with Punk, Cena, Roman, and Seth, because they're all obviously going to be a big part of either the actual Elimination Chamber match or narrative surrounding the actual event or after the event. And if you don't want to spoil what's going to happen at the Elimination Chamber, you can't really telegraph what you're going to do with these four. Charlotte versus Julia would be a great match, honestly. Shit, yeah, it would. And I think it's cool that WWE is allowing Charlotte to explore her options in NXT. And it makes sense considering Charlotte's the only ever Royal Rumble winner to go after an NXT championship in the past. So it's cool that they're calling back to that moment that happened in 2020. Me personally, I still would rather Julia defend her championship in Stand and Deliver because I feel like it should be the main event, the closing match of NXT Stand and Deliver with how amazing women's wrestling has been in NXT. Complete the trilogy. As much as I would love Tiffany Stratton versus Charlotte, Rhea versus Charlotte 3 at WrestleMania might have the chance to be the best women's match in WrestleMania history and could possibly main event night 1, which a women's title match deserves. A lot going on here, right? So if we were to get Charlotte versus Rhea, I feel like it's in strong conversation to be the night 1 closer. It was in strong conversation to be the night 1 closer the second time that they did this at WrestleMania 39, and it didn't end up getting that closing spot, but it was good enough to be the closer. People are dogging the idea of Rhea versus Charlotte, and it's because they've seen it before, but let's not forget that the times that we got it, both times they were fantastic matches, and the last time that we got it, it was one of the best matches of the entire goddamn year. And you mentioned the trilogy. This would be the first epic women's trilogy in WrestleMania history. The men's already has a few of those, and I wouldn't be surprised that if they want to make one for the women's, that this is the best go-to to make the first epic WrestleMania trilogy for the women. So I haven't completely thrown out the notion of Charlotte versus Rhea. I feel like it's a very, very strong place still. Even though I want to see Charlotte versus Tiffany Stratton, that is an unknown commodity. Who knows what their chemistry is going to be like? Who knows if it's going to be a good match? Who knows if it's going to be a good feud? But that unknown factor intrigues me and makes me want to see it because it's something new. But Rhea versus Charlotte, that's a known commodity. We know that shit would be good. So just have an open mind between Rhea and Tiffany Stratton. I don't feel like you can go wrong with either pick. But me personally, as a fan, I'd rather take the risk and see something new in Charlotte versus Tiffany Stratton. All right, folks, thank you so much for watching this episode of Hot Takes. I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care. Get out of here.